Galgotias University in Greater Noida today inaugurated its newly constructed building, which has been developed to enhance collaborative and active learning. The space has been named as Active Learning Space. These classrooms have been designed to promote active student participation using various means such as active learning, encouraging collaborative behavior, and facilitating experience based teaching. The building today was inaugurated in the presence of delegates from Nanyang Technological University who have collaborated with Galgotias for sharing their expertise and to help making Galgotias a hub for research and innovation. Can you tell us about the G Scale initiative and how it will help to transform Galgotias University?
Thank you. That's a very good question. It's a very large question. In essence, the G-Scale initiative is about changing the nature of learning at this university. And the essential change here is that classrooms are going to be active learning spaces for students. So we won't see students sitting passively in lecture theatres anymore. What we'll see is students involved collaboratively in active learning, in active problem solving. So this will change the character of student learning. It will make it a much more exciting university. And hopefully, students will benefit more educationally and will become better graduates and become more employable as a result. So this is a very large project and it's going to take some time.
So, what potential do you see in Galgotias University to become a hub for innovation and research in the Indian ecosystem?
I perhaps don't know enough about the Indian higher education ecosystem to answer that question in full. But what I can see here is a very courageous, ambitious, relatively young university that is going to advance very quickly as a teaching institution. I know less about its research performance at the moment, but I think the future for this university is very bright.
So, what advice would you give to Indian universities aspiring to establish a global footprint in education and research?
Well, one could say follow the lead of Galgotia University, because this university is really forging a path towards success.
What are your first impressions of Galgotias University and how does it compare to global institutions you have worked with?
Yeah, this is my first visit here, so it's an honor, and I think it was a really eye-opener experience for me. Before that, I just heard of Galgotia University from my colleagues, but coming here in person and seeing what's happening, it's such a vibrant campus. The students are so enthusiastic and passionate about learning, and I'm glad that universities, leadership is really taking, the responsibility of changing the students' learning experience here. So I'm very glad, I'm very inspired, and happy to see that is happening.
So, what potential do you see in Galgotias University to become a hub for innovation and research in the Indian education system?
I think with the current energy and direction of this university leadership, I think Galgotia really have a very good chance in achieving what it set out its mind to achieve.
So, what advice would you give to Indian universities aspiring to establish a global footprint in education and research?
I think all universities, can do this if they're clear about what they want to achieve. You set out your objectives, and of course, the challenges is getting the team to be motivated. But I think a very good start is with the leadership, of the university, backing up all this initiative, leading the way and showing and providing the necessary development and resources to help the faculty, the staff, as well as the students, to achieve the dream, right?
Sir, what aspects of NTU's infrastructure and facility have contributed to its global success and how can Indian universities emulate them?
Okay, for these questions, I would say that the facility and infrastructures do play a part in NTU's transformation and growth. I think, but also it's important to mention that it is important about the people being involved, that they should be properly trained and so that they know how to use these facilities and infrastructures, whether it's in terms of the teaching or whether in terms of the research, because a lot of this, at the end of the day, the infrastructures and tools are just things that we can use, but it's important that whether faculty or students, we know and learn how to make best use of such infrastructures and facilities in terms of our learning as well as in terms of our research.
So, how do you view the potential for collaboration between universities in India and Singapore in terms of research and faculty exchange programs?
I think historically, I think Singapore and India has a close relationship, and we do have a sizable Indian population in Singapore. And I think there are always opportunities for universities in both areas to share and learn from each other. Um, I think that is one thing that we do actively encourage, I think, our students to go beyond Singapore to explore within the regional countries, including India. And I think there's similarly for faculty for them to explore and learn. And also, I think there are many Indian faculty as well who sometimes come and visit us, whether for learning visits or attachments with us. So I think there are definitely opportunities which have been continue ongoing, and I believe it will continue to grow.
So, what advice would you give to Indian universities aspiring to establish a good footprint in education and research?
I think one of the key things which I've shared today in my talk with at GU here is that I think each university has to identify its own strength and identity, because there are so many universities, I'm sure, here in India, and I think each of them may be unique and not trying to be doing the same thing, but is to understand their students, about their resources, their aspiration, and what type of students that they are trying to develop, so that they can channel their resources to develop to the program to specific, whether that's the educational programs or whether it's the research programs, so that each of them can have a different strengths, and such that you have a whole diverse sort of areas that the multiple universities in India will be able to cover. So I think it's important for each universities to really think about and to reflect what they want, what is their strengths, and how do they really want to be known about.
So, what are your first impressions of Galgotias University and how does it compare to global institutions you have worked with?
Well, thanks for the question. So, my first impression has been really, really exciting and great. I feel very inspired to be here. I can see a lot of commitment, not just from the senior management, but also from the university students. So, congratulations to you.
So, what potential do you see in Galgotias University to become a hub for innovation and research in the Indian education system?
Yeah. I think with the commitment displayed by the senior management and the resources being put in, together with the commitment by the faculty members in GU, I think GU will go very far ahead in terms of leading the way of how innovative teaching is going to happen in this region for the upcoming years.